got a little more time, so I'm gonna play the Spider-Man game. I marked it 18 plus because I don't never know what my language is going to be. I'm trying to train myself not to cuss online. But it might accidentally slip out, so we will always mark my streams 18 plus. But I'm going to assume everyone's an adult that's watching me. Oh yeah, I'm stuck in the fight. I forgot how to fight. I remember I was stuck here.
Oh, hey, more guys. Welcome to the party. House rules. Leave your shoes at the door. Unless you're not wearing socks, in which case, buy some socks already.
I am a work in progress, a slow work in progress. One that's took already 20 plus years. I can tell you I'm a lot better than I used to be on some things, a lot worse in some areas.
Anyone want to surrender? No?
It's because I got bit. You don't want to never get bitter. You want to keep that in check too. Because that's the worst thing that can happen to you. Well, we had a very rough decade, should I say. And added with my years of darkness, I call it the years of darkness. So I'm still recovering for that little bit of time period. It gets better and better as I listen to more Bible and listen to more sermons. But I'm still there. Just recovering is all I'm recovering. It's very post-traumatic syndrome would be how I'd probably explain it. The things we went through. I don't bring them up online, but boy... That one son of a bitch I'm still bitter at. No matter how much I pray. The only time I'm ever going to get justice is probably if I actually see that he actually gets justice. And he still to this day gets arrested. You can run a check on him and boy, you can see it. He's a problem. He's a criminal. He really needs a superhero to take him down, if you know what I'm saying. He'll run into the wrong one day. He's already done 30 years worth of assaults that we counted back then. My father counted them out. But he should be 30 years in prison. They just keep letting him off. He's probably a damn undercover agent. That's what me and my daddy figured. He worked with people that got in trouble. He couldn't figure out why he got off. They had them all over this place up here. If you look back at that year, Georgia, the state of Georgia had 13 of those failed stings. I bet that was the number 14. It just never did get reported.
Oh, hey, more guys. Welcome to the party. House rules.
They got sued for it.
Unless you're not wearing socks, in which case, buy some socks already.
We gotta deal with him one day. If he is, he's a lowlife. I got no respect for them undercover people anymore. I don't respect that. It's like I don't respect the FBI for their dirty dealings. I don't respect dirtbags. And I don't care if the dirtbag is a criminal on the other side or what they call the quote-unquote good side. A dirtbag is a dirtbag. The FBI is no bigger than, no different than a government mafia.
Oh, hey, more guys.
In other words, they're just a government version of what happened in New York.
In which case, buy some socks already.
And the crime is crime. No matter what angle you're doing it. Criminal activity is criminal activity. And when you make criminals out of people, you basically are worse than the criminal. Sometimes that goes on, where they go make people criminals, where they literally entice them. In other words, that person may have never committed that crime if they had not been tempted by this low-life individual. That's lower than being a criminal, because a lot of times criminals have their reasons. But when you provoke it, you're no better than Satan. And that's what Satan does. He accuses the brethren. He goes in there and he tries to get them out of favor with God. And if you're a Christian, he works hard. If you're not a Christian, he works hard to keep you from ever getting there. And if you become a Christian, he tries to rob you of everything that you got coming for you. Well, these lowlifes that create criminals, just so they have a job, or so they can get a badge or a notch up the belt, or to look like they're solving crimes, they're no different than Satan. Indeed, they'll probably burn with him. If unrepentant, they'll probably burn with him for eternity. They might even be down there with him. I know if I was God, I'd put them down there with him. Because they're basically the same thing. Usually they get retards. Retards is what they usually get. Oh, we got him on a rocket launcher. I probably ain't never going to survive this. See, some of us ain't dummies, though. We know, some of us know what go on. That's what they don't like. They want everybody to be dumb. They want, and they like to call the ones that know all kinds of crazy names. Some of us knows how it works. That's what they're afraid of. That's why they censor speech. Because they know that some of us knows what's going down. Some of us just ain't idiots. It just goes around and follows pop culture. Some of us might like it, but we're not enslaved to that. A lot of people, that's all their minds consumed with. The next football game, the next movie, the next game, the next album. It's good to like those things. But that's what they want you focused on. And then they want you focused on the fear that they use to control you with. So they like scaring you about things. Like I'm always hearing them pumping those weather radios. You know I had a freaking weather radio with my shortwave since 2003 at least. My first shortwave didn't have one. When I replaced it in 2003, my newer one had one. And you know the good news about the one on the shortwave? It's not a bully. It doesn't turn on automatically. It doesn't aggravate the piss out of you. You can turn it on like if you see bad weather's coming. I mean, you can do the same thing with your freaking cell phone. I mean, you can sort of tell when things are supposed to get bad. I mean, you know the signs. You know what to look for. You can look, I better check. You don't need some through your house. You can hear it through brick walls. You don't need that fucking shit. They're always pumping it.
Anyone want to surrender? No?
They even used to give them away free. What was with that? Anything to waste government dollars is what it is. Because you know the government was paying for it. I mean, I had one with a shortwave radio, and it's the same damn radio. It's just you just have to turn it on manually. Now, you could set them up with the shortwaves where you could turn them on that way. I didn't ever do it. I didn't like it. They had them where you could fix them, some of them. The cheap ones don't. They just do anything to keep you in a panic state.
Come on, hit him.
I mean, I went and bought the guy's criminal record, though. And he had been getting arrested since he was 16 years old, and he still gets arrested as of last year.
Welcome to the party.
So there's some more added to it since the one I bought.
Unless you're not wearing socks, in which case, buy some socks already.
I don't name him. That's why I don't talk about it. You're not liable for anything if you don't name a person. The guide knows who the lowlife is. The guide knows what he done. He's watching you, buddy. You may get by here on Earth, but you won't get by forever. He ain't repentant because he's still getting arrested. You low-life criminal. You low-life scumbag. And I'm gonna tell you, when you're in hell, the flames will be sweet for you. Because if people knows what you did, they'd know why I'm saying that. The flames would be sweet for you, buddy. I jumped off. Well, I must have jumped off the building. Wonder how I get back up, which building was it? The flames would be sweet for you, bud, because you'll actually get your... Well, I better hush. You'll actually get your just rewards. Scumbag. I hope he's listening. I hope he's spying on me. You scumbag. I ain't forgot it. I'm trying to forgive it, but I ain't forgot it. I'm trying. I have to pray about it all the time. It is a hindrance to my faith. I ask God to remove the stumbling blocks. You know, that's in the Bible too. Woe to the stumbling block. Woe to the one that makes them stumble. There's plenty of that in there too. Woe to the stumbling block. And he's a stumbling block. I'm just going to apply that verse. I'm actually going to apply that verse while I still work to get over it. But I'm going to apply the verse of woe to the stumbling block. And if it was bigger than just him, woe to them too. Because I have some other thoughts too. Oh yeah, I have some other thoughts, some political thoughts. Woe to them. Of course now, I'm going to tell you, if it was, they sure did get Trump, now didn't they? And Trump was everything that I preached. He was just on a bigger level. Trump was everything I used to say on AOL. So I guess he did get even with him. Because I hear from him, y'all. I don't know why, but I always did. Even when I questioned him as a kid, I wanted to know if he was real. He was there with me. And he ain't supposed to do that according to these preachers. You ever listen to them preachers? And I'm not talking about Rodney here. He's the only one that preaches different than these people. You ever listen to these modern day preachers? You ain't got God, you get saved. Well, I wasn't saved yet because I was still trying to figure out what my grandmother and my grandmother. Of course, there is the blessing. There's the blessing of having blessed people, like say your grandmothers and your family. That might have been the reason why he was sticking to me, even though I was questioning. Because see, I was growing up, I was hearing different things. I mean, I was going to school and learning one thing, and then I was hearing another thing at home. I didn't know whether I was really believing in something real or not. I didn't want to believe in nothing fake. I wanted to know the real thing. And I'd always ask him, show yourself to me, Lord. I'd even scream it sometimes. I'd go out and scream it to the mountains. You could used to, Dalton used to, before they built it into this dung hole they turned it into. It used to be a quiet place. I got away from that building. I guess I'm just going to have to restart. See, that's the problem with me. I lose. And if they're like him and they can get miles away, I lose my, I see it, it's red. Let me just get him turned. My phone's kind of blocking. I got my phone here. It's kind of blocking my map. Let me get him turned to where there. I see the red. There we go, we're almost there. In other words, I didn't want to be a duped idiot that just didn't, I wanted to actually know what I was believing in. You know, you can't use your logic. That's one thing the Bible tells you. But he kept guiding me even though I'm telling you, he did. Now, according to those mealy-mouthed preachers that you listen to on TV and radio, that's not supposed to happen. You can't listen to them idiots. Of course, Rodney and them's always, Jonathan and Rodney both, they're always warning you about those idiots. You can't pay attention to them. That's why I don't. Oh, I'll listen to them. I'll listen to them and test them with the ears and see if I hear Bible, I'll give them credit. I've heard it over and over again that God don't work that way, but he worked that way with me. Maybe he just done it just to show them he can do whatever he wants to do. I don't know. You know, God, he does what he wants to do. He don't care what people think. He don't care what people say. And he picks the things things that they don't think should be. In other words, he picks the what is it? What is it he picks to confuse them or whatever? Well, how's that verse go? There's a certain verse I'm thinking about. the things they wouldn't, in other words, their little knowledge and stuff and their little doctrines, they live by that. But God always picks the things that they don't expect. Just to, there's a verse for it. There's a Bible verse. I'm sure somebody knows what I'm talking about.
Wait till they see this at work.
Well, I must have found a solution for my connection right now. I can't say it'll work forever. Right now,
Excuse me,
I'm on.
pardon me.
I'll have a permanent soon, though, because I'm going to try to, one, get a new service. Two, I'll try to run me some Ethernet. That's going to be hard in this brick-on-brick house because I'm going to have a bit to get through it. I'll have to find me a bit to get through it. I'm just going to reload the last checkpoint because I'm never going to get back there. I'm wasting my time. I thought I could get back. Once I jumped off that building, boy, I used to do that in, what's that called? The other San Andreas. You know, when he'd get killed or something, he'd get into the hospital and I'd be in the middle of a mission.
Hey, more guys. Welcome to the party.
But he comes out of the hospital. It don't, in other words, it don't save where you picked off.
Socks already.
And I could never get back. And I would spend hours. I eventually gave up on the game. Because I would spend hours trying to get back to where I was at. But I'm not good at that. I'm bad at that. That is one of the reasons why I never tried to travel. Because I was always that way as a kid. Like one time I missed the bus and I decided to walk home instead of calling my daddy because he got mad if you called him. But then he was worried about where I was at and he was out looking for me. And I got home. I was out looking for you. Well, me and this other boy, he helped me get home. But I started out on my own, and we got there about probably an hour or two late. He was worried about me. We was just walking. He ran into me. He said, "I'll help you get home." He said, "I know this whole area." He walked everywhere. He either rode his bike or walked everywhere. So he said, "I'll help you get back home." Well, my daddy did drive him back home. He did. He drove him back home. He was just a little black boy. His name was his name Derek? His name was Derek. He told me, he saw me. He said, "What you doing?" He said, "I missed the bus." So he helped me get home. I walked all over that place. I was always bad at directions. If I only had a compass, I still couldn't get home. I had this little, and I wasn't supposed to carry it. I'm telling something here that would have get you big trouble today, but I done it because I liked the compass on it. That was the only reason I take it. It was one of, you remember them survival knives that had the compass on them? Well, I used to like playing with that compass, so I would carry it with me. That was the only reason I had it. You know, if they'd ever caught me with it, I'd been in trouble. I got off the building again. Dang it, is it here? But he did, he helped me home. He said, "I know this whole town." He said, "I'll get you back home. Where do you live?" He got me home. I must be close because they're shooting at me. I'm close. He's one of my friends anyway. He was one of my friends. He just saw me wandering around, and finally he asked me, what's the matter? I said, I'm lost. He said, I'll help you get there. Of course, there was a shopping center right there below us at the time. And he would go there, so he knew exactly where I was at. I don't know how I got lost. I mean, really, if I just went straight, went right down the hill and went right, just kept going straight, I'd eventually got there. But I went the other direction. And boy, that was how I got lost. I was a kid, so, and I'd never done anything like that before. I mean, you're talking about lived a sheltered life, was taken to school, dropped off, picked up. Then when my parents got where they was both working at the time, they both couldn't come get me, so I jumped off the building again. Well, we'll climb back up. I know where it's at this time, because I just jumped right down. Trying to keep them from killing him. I'm jumping too hard. Yeah, if I just went right around the corner and just kept going straight, I would have got there easily. But I had to take another route. For some reason there, my little brain didn't think of the other ways that you had to get there. I mean, that was another. I mean, it was simple on the other end too. I just didn't think of it. But he thought of it. And I thought, how dumb of me. He's actually taking me how I should have went. That's what I thought. That's what my brain thought. But I just got panicked. And he happened to come around. I don't know, I guess God said. If he hadn't never seen me, I'd probably been lost until my daddy was driving around and found me. He might have eventually found me. Because I eventually just gave up and sat down somewhere. That's when he saw me. He said, what you doing? I said, I got lost. He said, where you live? Where you live at? I'll get you there. I know this whole town, he told me. I ride my bike. I walk everywhere, and when I can't walk, I ride my bike, he told me. I said, well, I don't want to name where I live, but I lived over, and I told him where I lived. He said, oh, that's easy. I can get you there easily.
Welcome to the party.
And when he started taking me that route, I knew, oh yeah, I could have got here for that.
Buy some socks already.
That's what I thought. Because it was sort of similar to the bus route. But I was just panicked, you know, because I'd never been in that situation before. But my daddy, he was picky. He didn't like school. I mean, that's how he got in trouble with the principals and stuff. He told them, don't you be calling me at my work. He'd get rough with them. I didn't want to call him, but he was worried about me. I do have to give him that. I got there and he said, where was you at? I was looking all over for you.
Anyone want to surrender? No?
I said, well, I missed the bus and I just didn't want to call you. I think I was in the bathroom. I had to go use the bathroom that day. And before I could get back out there, it came. I went back in and used the bathroom. I believe that's what happened. It might have been one of them times the teachers held me back. I cannot remember. They would do that. And my daddy would get mad, and the more he would get mad and complain, the more they would do it. Indeed, the principal actually told them, don't hold him out anymore. He's done told me he don't want to be called. That's what the principal told them. Well, they got where they would just, these bitches, and they were bitches, they were women, would deliberately do this. They would deliberately hold me if I did something they didn't like, and I did that a lot because I was kind of that way. You know, I didn't like some of the things I was teaching. When I didn't like it, I would either say something or do something disruptive. I got where they was hateful to me if I said anything. So, like I said, I seen that Nightmare on Elm Street where you got them guys, he's talking about the heart, They do yam and all that stuff, and one makes the poot on his arm, the fart on his arm. But I got where I would do stuff like that, so I like that. I got tickled at that. I didn't ever think of that. And I should be back maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, we definitely getting another internet. This place sucks. That was what started the development of the mean me. Because by 1989, I took enough. The teachers bullying me around. You talk about bullies. No more, Mr. Nice Guy. The minute I heard that Megadeth song, man, I heard the old one too. I didn't ever like the old one as much. It's slow. You ever hear how slow it is? People tells me it's the best. It's not. It's not. I don't think so. Yeah, it was Alice.
Got a present for you.
Yeah, people tells me it's the best, but it's not.
Let's finish him off.
It's not the best. Megadeth is much faster, much heavier. I know I'm hurting some feelings there, because people always think the original is the best. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I'll tell you one time where it was. Elvis, you know the big one that got real big, that you can run on for a long time was Johnny Cash. The best one was Elvis. Run on for a long time, you can run on for a long time. Run on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Go tell that a long-term rider. Go tell that midnight rider. Tell the rambler, the gambler, the bad body. Tell them that God's gonna cut them down. That's the best one. I like Johnny's too. But Elvis is the best.
Oh, hey, more guys. Welcome to the party. House rules. Leave your shoes at the door. Unless you're not wearing socks.
What's a gun? Can I get it?
Already.
I was gonna see if I could get it.
You asked for this. Give me the ball.
A lot of these people's days has problems with covers. Did you know originally songwriters didn't write their own songs and they had pools of people that wrote songs for them? And when it didn't work for one artist, they sent it to another one? People make such a big deal out of that. I mean, the difference is today, yeah, they do write their own songs at times.
Anyone want to surrender?
But that doesn't mean somebody else's version can't be better than that version, or somebody's can't be suckerier. People are so fucking picky today. And of course the bands are going to pitch fits about it.
I'll get it for you.
Because it's their money. But there's no reason the fans should be that way.
Oh, hey, more guys.
I mean, sometimes you gotta say, you don't tell me what to do. It's like that time when Kurt Cobain told Guns N' Roses man not to listen to him. I said, you don't tell me what to do. I can listen to whatever I want to. And I loved Kurt Cobain. I loved him. He was one of my biggest influences. I was depressed when he was dead for a long time. But I wasn't going to put up with him telling me what I could listen to. This music is for everyone. Once you put it out there, it's for everyone. It's not just yours anymore. When it was in your house and you didn't release it, it was yours. But one minute you put it out there, It was offered to the public. That's something Prince didn't ever understand either. He complained. He was literally trying to get Congress to change. And when they set up the copyright, that was one thing they kept in mind. They wanted to keep it where other people could do these songs. And I think it should stay that way. I mean, when you put it out there, it's a part of the public. It's a part of it. Now, you should get paid for it. I don't disagree with that.
Leave your shoes at the door. Unless you're not wearing socks, in which case, buy some socks.
You hear no complaints from me about getting paid, because it is yours. If you write it, it's yours. That was something the songwriters did when their songs was pooed before people started writing their own music. They were called songwriters, and they made their living that way. And when it didn't work for one artist, it was sent to another one. They still do that, by the way. They just don't let you know they do it. We found it out, though. We found it out by following a certain band. I won't name it. They still do it, they just don't let you know they do it. Like if you don't know the ins and outs of what's going on, they pretty much still do it. Or they'll create a song and then decide this band, they might want this other band to do it. So they change it around a little bit. They've done it for several bands that I like. Several of these newer bands. I can't tell you about the old ones like Guns N' Roses and them because I was too young. I was a kid. I didn't have the internet.
Leave your shoes at the door. Unless you're not wearing socks, in which case, buy some socks already.
But now there's always a guy that claims the Patience was his, so you never know. They might have still done that. Now, I don't say what he's writing. I've heard him claim it. What's his name? What band was he in? My mama said he was he Tesla? She's the one who actually heard it. She heard it on one of them rock shows she used to listen to. He claimed Patience was his. That don't mean just cause even if he had done it, even if he's just making that claim, even if he had done Patience, that don't mean it got big. I wasn't never, a lot of people love Tesla, but I wasn't never really a big fan of him. You know the only thing I ever liked from him? Signs, signs, everything is signs. Blocking up the scenery back in my mind. I never did, I was crazy about him. I was crazy about Tesla. The Signs was a 60s or 70s tune. Just redid. That doesn't mean it's because he might have recorded it and it wouldn't win anywhere. Nobody probably might have never even heard it on the radio. You would have around here because there's a station called 96 Rock loved them. I believe KZ106 might have played them too. But 96 Rock, they loved them. They loved Driving and Crime. Of course, Driving and Crime is from around Georgia. Here's what you hear on the 96 Rock all the time. You'd hear bands like Flirting with Disaster. You'd hear a lot of Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, all that. But you'd hear a lot of this other stuff too. Like they liked Hard a lot. And they liked Driving and Crying. They loved Driving and Crying. I miss 96 Rock. It was one of the best stations. It played a mixture. I mean, it played classics. But then it played the stuff at the time that were new, like Guns N' Roses. I mean, they played they had the version that was hard to get that they got out now on the new Appetite. You know the Knocking on Heaven's Door on there, the live one, the one that was on the It's So Easy EP. It's hard to get, or was till they put it out there. You had to get it from Japan. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, I wanted that damn thing for years. I finally got a copy in 2013. I'd been watching that thing. I mean, a lot of times you were lucky if you found a bad copy at $92. Well, I seen it get down to about nearly 60. And I thought, well, that's low enough. I'll get it. It's about $50-something, but it's 60 with postage. I finally got a copy at 60. Now I eventually got it again, remastered and I like the remastered one. The original one's real low. It's real low. You have to turn your radio all the way up to hear it. But they actually had that. They played it all the time. That was one they played that Knocking on Heaven's Door all the time. And I liked it. That's why I listened to their station, because most stations wasn't playing, because MTV was playing. It was MTV, you know. MTV was playing Knocking on Heaven's Door. But 96 Rock was playing Knocking on Heaven's Door, so you could even call up and request it. And I did, many a time. 96 Rock was one of the few stations that had that. I mean, like I said, first time I ever heard Nirvana, I got tired of it on there. I hated Nirvana at first. I got so irritated with Smells Like Teen Spirit. Every time I turned on the radio, there it was. I didn't know who this band was. That's why I was reluctant to get into them. But then I got their album and everything changed. And when I got Incesticide, May 31st, 1993, Incesticide sealed the fate of whether I was a Nirvana fan or not. There's just things I liked on that album. Mexican Seafood, them other crazy ones. Let's see. Big Long Now, which was a cover. I think that was somebody else's. I think they just covered it. And then there was the last one, Aneurysm. Yeah, that was Aneurysm. And I can't think of all the songs. I even like the Fast New Wave Pilot. That one about the sun. Sun, up and down, turn around, round. Of course, that was that band's. I found their album too. They had one song on there that I never heard from Nirvana that I loved. Because I had a cat. He was big and fluffy like that. And it was called Monster Puss, meow, my Monster Puss. Monster Puss, meow, my Monster Puss. I love that song. I eventually tracked down their album. You know, they had several he did. He did the Jesus Don't Want Me for a Sunbeam. I always cringed at that one. That one just made me cringe. You know, I'm a Christian. It made me cringe before I made my mind up, though. I mean, I was still in the discovery mode, where I was wondering if God was real. And it made me cringe in. First time I heard it's when they done it on the Unplugged. I got a cringe in my gut that night. And I didn't become the actual Christian until August 94. When I just had enough of that year. That year was terrible to me. That was just a terrible year. The whole year. And I finally, and that guy, he was preaching. He was talking about Kurt Cobain that night. Jack Benefit. And this is what he said. And this is what got my attention. They had hassled Courtney Love. You know, he reported news. And they were hassling Courtney Love at the airport about having the stuffings. And he made a reference about, well, you know, that's not really his body. He's in one place or the other. And he said, a lot of people's done judged and said where he's at. I'm not going to do that. They said, but I don't know why he took the nice road. If he went the other route, I would probably tuned out. But then he started saying, I will tell you one thing. This is right before he went to his prayer. He said, all you rock and rollers out there, you don't have to be like him. Even right now, I don't know where he's at, but you don't have to be like him. You can actually make your decision today. Do you want to make that decision? I said, he's talking to me. Because I wanted to be a rock and roller. I wasn't a rock and roller, I was just doing karaoke. I wanted to be. I was writing a song, I remember. I wrote my first song July '93, and it was that. That's my first song I ever did. I was lucky I got it recorded too. I done that piece by piece, by the way. That wasn't just one piece. I done drums first, I did something else. Then I did another one, and it wasn't never no good. I think I put it out too. I'll have to go look at my box set and see if I put it out. It's called Ghost on Halloween '93. I didn't do it as good as I did Ghost. Yikes, a ghost. Of course, now that was written, even though it was done in a Halloween spirit, it was done in about real experiences with ghosts in the house.
Oh, hey, more guys. Welcome to the party. House rules.
Now, I did a new version of it. I'm looking for my new version. It's like that thing I found the other day. It was recorded at the same time period, and I don't know where I've stored it. I made a newer one. I made it over at the apartment. I'm thinking about putting a new one out. It had some sound in it too, believe it or not. Something was going on around the apartment. And it picked up in it. It gives it an eerie sound. It wasn't really nothing eerie. I mean, it was something going on outside. But in the recorder, it gave an eerie effect. I mean, it wasn't nothing supernatural. I'm not going to say it was something supernatural, because it wasn't. It was natural, but it made a supernatural sound. So it was kind of like an environment thing. It just turned out for the recording that way. I hope I find it. I don't know what it did with it. Yeah, I'd already started writing my lyrics in March of '94. That's when I did my first batch of lyrics. They were not good songs either. I mean, stuff like even Really Missed You, Baby. You notice it just repeats? That's the first one I ever did. I was thinking about a guy. I sat down and I thought, what could I write? I'm telling you my thought process there, and I thought, well, a guy, he's lost his girlfriend. How would he be feeling if he lost her? I thought, he's really missing her. So I put that down. And I got the tape recorder up and put the karaoke on. I started just singing it out. That's what become Really Missing You, Baby. Yeah, I just sat there and I just thought. I said, I'm trying to write a song. What could I write about? A guy losing his girlfriend. What's the first thought he thinks of? He's really missing her. He wants her back. But then later on, I thought, maybe you don't want her anymore. So I made the part 2. I don't want you anymore. I don't. And I turned, and when I had it recorded, I told the guy when he made my music, I said, now what I want you to do with these part 2 lyrics, I want you to sit down and you think about it. I said, you can do this on a tape recorder. But I don't want to do it that way. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go ahead and close. I'm going to close with this. I said, I don't want to do it this way. I said, yes, you can turn tapes backwards. Beatles done that. But what I want you to do is imagine the rhythm backwards and play me the song backwards. Play it. Well, he done that. Down, 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 down. He done it. I didn't want, because you could do that. Beatles done that with a song called Rain and Paperback Writer. One of my favorite songs. Paperback Writer. And then they made Rain. Rain was always my favorite version. But I thought, I don't want to do it exactly like the Beatles. I want to do it a little different. So what I did is but now I found out that's not so original. Because I've heard Nirvana's take on that. Have you ever heard about Smells Like Teen Spirit? Go look that story up. That wasn't necessarily original either. But see, I didn't know they did. I hadn't heard that story yet. So that's what I did. Yeah, I got to thinking that he might not want her back after he gets through with her. So I went through the whole process. I wrote, "I really missing you, baby," first, but then I thought, what's his next reaction? Fuck you, bitch. That's his next reaction. I'm going to get out of here. See y'all next time. And I didn't record. I was online. I forgot. It gets confusing.